friends. How are you doing?
Hey.
So today we wanted to talk about our marriage.
Uh-oh.
Yay.
Some truth is about to come out. And I believe these conversations are important and there's not enough of them just to hear what couples talk about. And we're going to talk about what makes this marriage work. How long have we been married?
So we've been married for 27 years and we've known each other for over 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got married, we were 21. And I mean, obviously we didn't know a lot about relationships. We kind of just went with it, and there was no tools, or their relation built purely on attraction, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, we had such different families. She came from a two-parent household with a very structured family, but like reserved parents. They didn't talk about their feelings. I came from a one mother, right, that raised two sons from different fathers, and emotion and drama was just filling like every day of my existence, So these two family systems coming together, technically they shouldn't be even together, right? But something happened. Love, I think, in my opinion, on my side too, like for sure. And I don't know what's on her side, but we stayed together. Again, there was no plan, right, for you to stay together so long or plan the marriage to work. I didn't have that. I was just young and I wanted you to live with me. That's all.
Yeah, the same for me. I didn't have that idea of like, oh, one day I'm gonna be married and I'm gonna have kids. I remember just knowing that I'm gonna have kids one day. But when I met Sasha, I didn't know like, oh, we're gonna get married and we're gonna do something, and like I have this wedding dress, and we actually didn't have any of that. It was very simple, very like. Yes, I got attracted to Sasha because he was very respectful, very nice. He was a musician. He made me laugh. He played music. He had a long hair. He was funny. He was goofy. And I came from, previous relationship. I was so young. I was like 18, 19. And the guy I was with was not very respectful. And then other guys that I was kind of friends type of thing, it was not a lot of respect. So Sasha was like me, for me, was like, oh my God, I found somebody who can love me and respect me. And then, of course, I fell in love with Sasha by, like you giving me so much love.
And I was making poetry for her, I'm a musician, so I came up with different poetry, and she laughed. And I really each person wants to make a difference, right, or affect each other, another person. And I saw my influence on her right away. I think this warmed my heart. Like I say something, she laughs. I talk about something, she listens. And I think that's what I think attracts
you yearn
people.
To be heard and to be seen.
So,
I yearned to be seen and like acknowledged that I exist. And that's actually
and it worked pretty well because I was the intellectual one and she was the emotional one. So over time we actually blended, right? And she gave me her emotional part, and I taught her how to be, logical and use intellect, to build up the character. So this is what I think people get wrong. Oh, we have to have something in common. We had nothing in common. What music did you listen to?
I listened to pop music, like in Russian, like Белые розы, белые розы.
and I hated this music because it wasn't cool. I was a cool guy with the long hair playing, heavy metal. So technically we weren't supposed to be together. We had almost no interest together except for drugs and alcohol.
He read a lot. I didn't like to read. He was like very goal oriented, knowing what he wanted. I had no idea what I wanted. He was, you always like gathered like concerts and did a lot of social things, I knew I had a leadership inside of me, but I was very shy and very reserved. I didn't know what I wanted until the drugs and alcohol start opening up. opening me up, and so we got connected and we had fun together.
And we had that in common, like I said. Yeah.
And then we played music. You know, he said, "Why don't we play music together?" I said, "Okay, let's do this crazy punk rock music."
So I think what's enough for any couple is that the mutual attraction and one or two things together, so you could still explore yourself as a as a personality separately. It doesn't have to be like, oh, we must have too many things in common. Are not good, actually, I think.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna get bored. And then I think an important thing too, we asked ourselves this question: what can we do as a couple together? Right? When we started living together, this was the best test to see: is it a fling? Right? Or is it something that can really work, and we will still enjoy each other? Most relationships now go through the peak, right? And then once the sex thing is over, you start seeing all those differences and you fall apart because it's not fun anymore. We started working on making it fun or continuing to work on it, right?
Yeah, and I think that's our main thing through the whole, like, our relationship, our marriage. We always try to make life fun. We always try to come up with ideas to spice it up, right? It's either with the kids, when the kids were little, to take them on like small vacations and dance with them and like bring this life and joy into the house, right? Or if it's two of us, you know, like recording some type of music or going like on a trip, right? Going on some kind of adventure. And both of us, we agree on the topic that we need to take risks in being goofy, right? Like we decided that it's okay to be goofy because being goofy is okay to spice up the marriage.
As far as not becoming adults, I think, well, it could be, did you think we decide that, or it just wasn't us? Like, I didn't want to grow up in a way, but I was willing, little by little, to take more responsibility. So it wasn't like the society. I think we didn't follow the society rule.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, our marriage was based on like, okay, do you want to get married? My mom said we need to get married, so we have this apartment, da 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 da. Do you believe in marriage? Not really. Do you? Not really. But we should get married. We should sign the papers,
Yeah,
right?
It wasn't like, yeah, we were preparing for a wedding. It was like, okay, and then we just kept smoking weed, you know, something like this. So it wasn't a decision.
But see, it was by society rules, you know, it wasn't right. We didn't agree that we're gonna get married and live forever and after. We decided that before that we wanted to live together on a different date. We decided consciously that I think I love to stay with you, and Sasha said I love to stay with you.
Yeah, and so basically the signing of the papers, it changed the relationship just like any official paper would do. But in the core, we knew we were going to live together with the signatures or without.
Or without signatures, yeah.
So I guess that's for you to check, right? If you're together, can you say, okay, do I need to sign the marriage agreement to keep this woman next to me? Or I can just let her be and she can leave anytime, but for the time being, we're okay.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Paper signing is really important because you know, you maybe purchasing a house together, you know, a legal thing, you know, the kids together. You have, you know, you go insurance purposes and stuff like that. But we chose to be together, right? And that's the important thing. We making that choice every single day, right?
Yep. And then I want to go to the bad times right now, right?
Yes. So, because we making the choice we're making the decision to live together and to live happily together every single time, because there was the moments when we weren't okay with each other.
So yeah, we were actually okay with each other, but not excited about each other as much as we were before. Obviously, things do come down, and it's our responsibility to bring them back up. But at one point, or a couple times in our relationships, we were just doing okay our separate ways. She was running her thing, I was running my thing, and nobody wanted to question the status quo, right? It worked. Okay, well, we got the kids, we got a check mark next to married, right? We're not getting divorced.
We got a house, we got, you know, doing the things, going kind of separate way. We kind of together, but there was no like sparkle. There was no like excitement. Oh my God, we're living together. And maybe our separate way, we had excitement. He had his own excitement. I had my own. Like,
that's right.
He was like on the computer, like doing like music. I was taking care of the kid, and it was just, and that moment was after we got sober from alcohol and drugs, and it was like really, you know, our transformation times. We were sober, we were not high anymore, so we learned how to live in sobriety and also still be okay together.
So maybe, like I'm thinking to myself right now, I think the key to many relationships is to keep looking for a new adventure, right? Not settling, like asking yourself once in a while, okay, is this working? Or like for us, being sober was an adventure, right? And then becoming life coaches was an adventure. We will learn more and more, and I'm sure there are more adventures ahead, right? Of us.
Yes, absolutely.
But it's nobody's gonna tell us that. If we didn't talk together, actually, if she didn't insist on sitting down and talking, I would be kind of sliding this thing. It wasn't in my family that we sat down and talked about our plans and feelings and stuff. And she learned that fast.
Well, yeah, and that's where it's, you know, going back to the beginning of the video, we talked about how we came from the two different households, right? So I learned my set of tools and Sasha learned his set of tools, right? So somewhere, you know, growing up, like my mom, my dad was really quiet, usually quiet. My mom would spoke her opinion sometimes, right? And somewhere down the line, I learned and realized that if I'm gonna not tell him that I feel miserable in this relationship right now, we have to do something, nothing would change. Honestly, because we still go through the same thing at times. Because Sasha, you know, you go back into the same routine,
yeah,
right?
My behaviors dominate. You see, remember, you will never shake off your family belief systems because they're ingrained in the child's brain that we possess right now. So it's a conscious choice that I have to make to remember that not everything in my family of origin worked, and that I can take something from hers or learn from you or other people and try new things together.
Yeah.
And that's what helps.
But see, the thing is, it takes open mind from both sides, you know, because if I tell him, Sasha, you don't see me anymore. I don't feel seen. I don't feel loved because you own like either work or some kind of coaching assignments with you know, the people in recovery. Like he can always find stuff to do, and I can always find stuff to do.
And mine, like my brain, my original brain reacts with anger. Like, what do you mean I don't love you? What do you mean? Look, I do this, I work for you, I bring the money and everything. So I start using my cards to just not feel hurt by her truth, instead of acknowledging her truth and saying, if she feels like this, it doesn't matter what I think, what can we do about it so she doesn't feel this way, and I don't compromise everything, right? Like,
yeah,
just to make you happy, then I'm faking it
exactly
too.
Yeah, so it needs to be a balance. But honestly, one of the things that I learned and I share with you right now, with, you know, that we have to speak up our truth. Bottom line, if I'm not telling to my partner that something is off and I feel unbalanced in the family relationship, one thing, when I'm not happy with myself, that's a whole different story. But if I feel unbalanced and my partner is not giving us, our relationship, the time, then something is wrong. Then eventually it gets more imbalanced all over the place, and then we start fighting. You never give me the time. What are you doing? What's going on? I don't need your money. Eventually all this money and purses and cars and whatever, it's not important anymore because I'm not being seen as a woman, right?
So I want to say this, you know, I think how much time we got? 13 minutes. Yeah. So I think riding the waves of truth, I heard that. When I start being more honest with you and you are more honest with me, and the truth will hurt because it doesn't go together with what I believe about the world, because we have different truths, but we will discover and rediscover each other and do something about it, instead of trying to say, you got to live my way because this is how it's set in my mind and seems right to me. So it's constant decision, right?
Yes.
Or willingness to reevaluate.
Reevaluate, yes, because life is changing, of course. We have different, we had little kids, we were together, now they're growing up, we have our own thing. I have my coaching, he has his coaching, the jobs, but we have to constantly come together. And this part of this video, it's, brings us together too. And then doing choosing to do some things together and talking about it, sitting down and having the family discussions, going on a date, one-on-one, and communicating the same, communicating the truth. Yes. Because without the truth, I will not know how he feels, and he doesn't know how I feel. And what happens, people just being quiet, and then eventually, like Sasha said, in 5 years from now, they live together, they think happily ever after, but she said, I'm divorcing you.
Yeah, because there was no withheld truth. Withheld truth, they eventually make so much pain, and she expects me to read her mind and know that something is wrong. Men don't usually see it, and some women don't. So basically, my job is to say, at the end of the day, hey, how was your day? Is everything okay? That is my insurance that I have a beautiful and loving wife in my relationship for as long as I can have it, or as long as God allows it. But if I just keep believing that, because I already married her, that's it, I don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
She's going to love me forever. No. So
relationship is work.
Yeah.
It's work. It can be fun work, sometimes with tears and screams and, disappointments, but it's still work. It can be fun and alive and beautiful. And so it's our job to create that, and so many people think you don't have to do anything. It's just going to grow like this, but believe me, after 27 years of being married, you have to constantly bring the joy and
reinvent
excitement
yourself. Yeah. So how about just one suggestion, if you don't mind? Today, choose one thing to talk about and step out of the comfort zone. You don't have to just drop big old story that you withheld from your wife or your husband, right? Just say one thing that you don't like and how you want to change it. Not just drop it and not have a solution, or ask a question. What do you think we can do about it? How can we change it? And if there is resistance, and there will be resistance, you learn from it rather than holding grudges and saying, I'll never talk about this. That's what people do. They get one negative experience and they shut completely down. They say, it will never work. This is the mind bias. Please invite yourself and then invite your spouse to
your partner.
Your partner,
if you're in a partner relationship.
Conversation.
Yeah.
Have a conversation. It's not supposed to feel right because it's unusual, unnatural for people to do it. Once I won the woman, I think things are going to work out. No, it's not true. I have to constantly win her over and over. And I learned the hard way, trust me, when she almost left, because I forgot about my certain duties, and I don't want this to happen to you. There's so much fun to stay in a partner in the long-term relationship because the woman I met is different. This is a different woman right now. So therefore, I have been married to different women, staying with one, and it's partly my work, God's work, and her work. So let's work together as three, right?
God bless you guys, everyone. Please subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate all of your comments, really appreciate your support. We would like to, we want to make a difference and want to share our, heart, our knowledge with you. So maybe it will help you. Please click on bell,
whatever it is, right?
And you will have notifications when we have a new YouTube videos come out. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Peace.